So, hello and welcome to our next lecture, and this time with our first invited lecture. I'm not really a big fan of big introductions, so I'm going to hand over straight to Annie, and she will probably say a few words about herself, and then we'll do the first interactive invited lecture. So thank you very much for joining us, and please everyone enjoy the show.
Thanks, Benjamin. I will try my best to make a good show for you. So let me stick this. Okay, so welcome to the first invited lecture. My name is Annie Melkonyan-Gottschalk. As you can see, I am a part or directory board of ETCE. This is the Institute for Geotechnology and Mineral Resources, the first large institute which has been launched on the 1st of January 2025. Back to me, what I'm doing, basically I'm an environmental economist. Better to say I like more ecological economics than environmental economics because those are a little bit different things. Before joining to TU Clausthal, I used to be executive director for Center of Logistics and Traffic, so I'm very much into transformation in urban regions and supply chains. But today what I'm going to talk about is circular economy, and I have named it a little bit different than a classical circular economy, circular society, which you can see there. I bet you haven't heard of that until now. Very good news is that this is on a very top political agenda nowadays, not only in Germany, but also in European Union. Me personally, I have joined last year the new governmental panel of Lower Saxony called Circular Economy. We have there 4 working groups. One of them is Circular Society, which is being led by me. So today I will be talking about circular economy and then why is it important to talk about circular society as well. Let me start. Oh, I hope this works. Doesn't really go, but the pointer works. Ah.
Try again.
No? Ah, no.
Does it look like trying?
No. Oh, I'm clicking. Doesn't go.
We had this problem before.
Okay, but I can use that. Yeah, no problem. I can. Yep. Okay, now we got it. So what are we going to do today? I will give you a little bit background on circular economy, definition of that, and then about the ETCE framework of circular economy. Then I will talk about the potential benefits. Very interesting thing, I have just put it here, this part, potential benefits, because next week I'm going to moderate a panel on in European Commission in Brussels. And the thing is about circular economy, they asked me to talk about some facts, digits, why circular economy is going to be a very important transformation pathway for us. That's why I said, okay, I will take these facts with me for you as well today. Then afterwards, I will go towards circular economy at micro level, and then I would like you to do a little bit case studies with me. I have taken a very big pool of case studies with me, so I will introduce very shortly to you what those case studies are, and then be patient, please, or pay attention to what kind of case studies there are, because I would then ask you to choose one. 6 are here, 10 are digitally joined us. So I would suggest that each group has 3 members. With that, we would be able to work on 2 case studies here, and I would suggest 2 case studies in a digital way. So for that, I would kind of take 30 minutes from your part, and then you will present those case studies, each group perhaps 5 to 7 minutes, okay? And then we will go to circular society. definition and then as well to some potential benefits. Okay, that's about starting. Linear economy vs circular economy. I bet you have seen this picture, but still I like this over and over to start with. Why? Because in general, actually, our economy or the economic paradigm is based on very, very typical take, make, use, and dispose model, right? Basically, we are taking the raw materials, it goes towards the use phase, and then it's being disposed. Actually, it is based on end-of-life concept. And here is very important that the flow of materials is actually in a sequential manner. Yeah? With that, we are putting obviously quite large pressure on nature because the resources are ending up into the disposal and landfills. In contrary to that, we see the circular economy concept, which actually accomplishes the Sustainable Development Goals from UN. You know about the UN Sustainable Development Goals? Okay. How many are there? 4. Oh, that would be nice. Would be easy to handle. 17. Restorative and regenerative products by design are very important. Why is it very important, especially at the European Union level? Nowadays, it is very important to have the product already designed in a circular manner, because afterwards it would be easier to take some models of that or just to put the materials again back to the material flow. Create environmental quality, and that's an important thing, economic prosperity and social equity. This is actually in a very, very central part of circular economy. With that, we are moving actually towards a paradigm of industrial ecology or environmental economics, which is actually, makes use of environment and society, but in a very low way, low standard. Why? I will tell about it later on. Okay. Back. So we have different models to define the circular economy. So one model we talked about, take, make, waste, reduce, reuse, regenerate, is the contrary one. The waste is actually the landfill and incineration. Within the circular economy, we are talking about zero waste or closed loops. Have you heard of closed loops? Have you heard of open loops? No? Actually, it's a very interesting thing. When we talk about the circular economy, everybody is talking about the closed loops. Like you remember the circular I have shown to you before this slide. But the thing is that actually we are talking about a closed loop when the material is going from each stage of value or supply chain back to the, for instance, from consumer to producer and so on. But what if, just imagine we are not in one production system, but if we are using the output of one industry as an input for the other one. So actually, we are taking the resources from one loop into the other one. And that's why people say that this system is called open loop system. A very typical industrial symbiosis is based on open loop circular economy. Energy is quite clear, fossil fuel dependent for linear economy, and for circular it must be renewable or recycled energy. And that was also an important concept, especially when we talk about the mobility, and we say if we take the electrification of a fleet, it doesn't make anything if we are still using the fossil energy, right? It's not that, the transformation is not really very good. Citizen role in linear economy, we have passive consumers. So you consume whatever you take or get. Whereas in circular economy, we talk about prosumers. That means that consumers become also part of production system, or at least of design system. Imagine there are so many nowadays companies. If you want to have your sneakers, you can basically design your own sneaker. I don't know whether you have done this experiment. I have done. It's really very fun. So you design your own shoe. That's already something different than only consuming. System thinking, and that's my very important moment. I love this thing, and that's always whenever what kind of lecture I'm giving to my students, I always say the most important thing is to get a system thinking, because it's so easy that you optimize one system or one factor in a system, and you don't see how the entire system might be changed. Rebound effects. I hope that you have heard of rebound effects. Yeah? Okay. Can you give me an example on a rebound effect? By the way, people from online might just shout out, right? Okay. So you can also shout out. An example. What could be a rebound effect? Yes, please.
A certain car manufacturer can create an increasingly better performing car.
Mm-hmm.
That car by itself could lead to a lower footprint. If more consumers start purchasing that vehicle, then that doesn't really solve the case, hence generating this rebound.
I do understand that you are going into the right direction. Perhaps you could think of another example during the case study, which would be even perhaps a little bit more provoking. You have a little bit more time. Okay. So within circular economy, we speak about two kinds of cycles. The first one is the technical, and the second one, the biological cycles. Let's start with the biological cycle. A very interesting thing actually is that people say that circular economy is nothing really very new. The linear economy was something new in the history of people and human beings, because biological recycling is within the nature. So what we are doing right now with circular economy, we are just mimicking the nature, or reproducing what we could see and follow in the nature. So what is it about, the biological cycle? It's that food or biological materials might be fed back into the system through processes such as composting and anaerobic digestion. Just imagine a leaf which is falling down a month ago, and then it's being through composting and becoming food for insects or whatever. Yes, it's a very, very typical natural biological cycle. The cycle regenerates living systems, and that's an important thing. That is so biological, and the technical one is that we are, as human people, our technical, through technical revolution, we recover and restore products, components, and materials through strategies like many R's we know: reuse, repair, or remanufacturing, recycling. If we take these loops into the both sides, I don't know how creative you are, but it's actually really very easy to see this picture like as a butterfly, right? It's a very, very typical butterfly diagram, and it is coming from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Basically, what you see here is on the left-hand side, the biological cycle starting from parts of manufacturing, or then coming to the consumers, and then extraction through cascading effects or anaerobic digestion towards again back to the system. Whereas here on the right-hand side, we have the technical cycles, and you see here actually very typical take-make dispose model, and then each cycle we are trying to maintain the value of the product through maintenance, reuse, refurbishment, recycling. By the way, it's an important diagram. What you can't see here is which measure is more nice one or more productive one. Why? Because if we talk again about the rebound effect, then we might say, basically you remember that we said within circular economy we want to reduce energy, right? But if we just imagine recycle and refurbish and remanufacture everything, then it might be a rebound effect that we use more energy through that, right? And at the end of the day, perhaps the remanufactured material of a product doesn't have the quality what we actually want it to have. And that's a very, very typical problem or downside of the circular economy, whereas we say that if we take the other R, which is reduce, rethink, and repair, through these R's, we are actually having the highest value of environment within product. That is something which you can't see in this diagram, but perhaps for the next time, or if you Google the value of the products through R strategies, you will find plenty of them. Now I would like to talk about the ETCE framework of circular economy. I believe this is the best of the frameworks beyond the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which I have just shown to you, the butterfly one. The ETCE is, have you ever heard of ETCE? The other task for you, just you have to Google it. It's an intergovernmental city framework, so 2,500 cities are within the network of ETCE to use synergies from transformation of urban regions. They have different sectors, energy, mobility, but one of the largest ones are the cities itself within the circular economy. And they have developed the ETCE framework for circular economy, which I would like to share with you. There are basically 5 large points: rethink, regenerate, reuse, reduce, and recover. Let me go through this step by step. So the rethink one starts with the systems to be adaptive and support long-term sustainability. And that is something which is the key for any kind of policy-making procedure. Nowadays, that is, I would say, the biggest negative aspect that we are thinking always in a short-term optimization. Long-term system thinking is the most important one. System support self-sufficiency. So actually, after especially the Corona time, we started to think about regionalization concepts. That means that actually we, or societies, should be per se self-sufficient. Is it really realistic? Depends. I would say partially. What is more interesting here, self-sufficiency is something which is very good, especially when it comes to resilient thinking. But there is another concept saying that doesn't matter how self-sufficient we are still dependent on specific resources. We cannot have them here. So the concept says that actually the global value chains, or the value chain should be global, yes, but the supply chain should be local. And I like this localization concept more than absolute system self-sufficiency. So whatever, I think it's already the 3rd time I hope that you notice, doesn't matter what I'm talking to you, I always say a down effect of that. And especially in a circular economy, but also in ecological economics, there is always a down part. Believe me, everywhere you will see. And that's why it's very important to think in a critical way. Yeah? Residents are reconnected to value chain, actually what I have said in before. Consumption-based emissions are addressed, and that is very important thing. Why? Because generally, Germany has, do you know what is the share of CO2 emissions or greenhouse gas emissions in Germany? Any guess? You will not know it's 100%, but just a guess. Are we doing good or not that?
Share in terms of
Greenhouse gas emission
on a global scale?
on a global scale. Okay, let me put other way around. What do you think? Which countries are the largest global emitters? United States, China, it's good. And when we come to Germany, how good are we?
I think it was the 6 or 7% range.
That would be not bad, but we are not yet there, 12.5%, somewhere around, which is quite a lot, but it becomes even more interesting. It's the absolute greenhouse gas emissions. It's not per capita. And if we take per capita greenhouse gas emissions, Germany is even worse. And now it is becoming even worse than India. Just imagine. That's, so we have quite a lot to be done. And now what I haven't said in this calculation is even worse. The consumption is not there. Consumption-based emissions are not actually really calculated, and that's really very difficult. Actually, that was going to be within the, perhaps you have heard of Supply Chain Act from European Union, within that, but it's really very difficult because nobody can indeed track the, where the materials are coming or where the, actually the products even are being generated. Yeah? So the entire supply chain is really very difficult to track. With that, it's also very difficult to track the consumption. Yeah? Even if my jeans, what I'm taking or putting here, is not being a part of the global greenhouse gas emissions through the production process in Germany, but it has been produced elsewhere, right? And I'm consuming it here, but it's not being calculated for here. So the framework says that consumer-based emissions should be addressed in order to have the realistic picture. If we go further, regenerate, harmonize with nature is the second one. Products and services are made from lowest impact and renewable resources. That is something which is one of the aspects, but the second one I talked about again, the consumption, and here they say production and consumption systems do not exceed the carrying capacity of the natural ecosystems. And indeed, by the way, we talked about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. One of them is production and consumption should be in balance with each other. And that's exactly the biggest natural impact, negative effect, that those systems are really not in balance with each other. We overproduce sometimes. On the other hand, sometimes we overconsume. So if we could make this in balance, that would be one of the biggest steps. By the way, one of the case studies I have taken with me in Farm is exactly addressing this issue. And that's really something very cool you will see in a moment. So I'm just jumping through the points. Reduce. So reduce is actually coming here from the very first time. The health impacts are being addressed here, which are linked to pollution. And those should be directly reduced. This is one of the aspects, and surely the second or one of the biggest things is overconsumption to be really kept. So overconsumption generally is a really very interesting thing. I have been working with quite a lot of psychologists, and the thing is that they say we don't consume mostly because we need the product, but because we need something else, and we are trying to overcompensate our needs through overconsumption. That's an interesting theory. That's an interesting thing, and I think that would be something to really rethink. One of the psychologists also said, imagine if you think 5 minutes about whether you buy something or not, in the 5 minutes exactly, you realize that you don't really need it. So if you just give you a little bit time to think, and it's especially on the online consumption, then you never click on a button after 5 minutes if it's not really something you really need. That's an interesting theory. I have tried and it works. The next one is the reuse. So reuse might be, in different ways. Actually here, again, what we have talked, especially the consumption part is being very much addressed. Reuse means not only for the same things what you are having. In that sense, it might be repurposing, right? But also sharing with the others. So sharing concept is here also very much embedded into this. By the way, in Clausthal, we have quite a lot of second-hand, or at least one platform with second-hand clothes and food sharing platform. If you are interested, you can find it easily. Then recover. Total extraction is reduced through recovery of the materials. The local economy are the innovators, and are being supported. And that's, again, and over, is very much dependent on the local or self-sufficiency concepts. What is very interesting here is that the upskilling and employment opportunities are completely different. We have started a new project which is dealing with the ability of the employees within circular economy. There is absolutely no literature about this. We have done a very, very large bibliometric literature analysis. There is nothing about the upskilling of the people. And that's what we are trying to change, or what Benjamin is trying to change, especially here. The thing is that the circular economy in the minds of young generation is not there yet. Why? Because they are generating, and we have done a quite large study with TU Braunschweig. The association is still with, in German, Abfallwirtschaft, or waste management. That's really interesting thing. And with that, it isn't attractive. So what is very important is not only the upskilling in technical way, but also creating new narratives of circular economy. Now I would like to come to the third sub-point of the circular economy background, and this is the potential benefits, what I have talked about. The first one is the environmental benefits. This is actually really very nice one. We talked about the resource conservation, waste reduction, climate protection. That's for sure. But about the climate protection, I have taken this chart, which is really very interesting. What it says? It says that the largest emitting sectors, those are the actually mobility, food, and built environment sectors. We call them problematic children when it comes to climate protection. If we would really succeed in transformation to circular economy in only these three sectors, mobility, food, and built environment, then we would reduce CO2 emissions by 48% by 2030, and just imagine 83% by 2050. 83%, that's a real huge sum. And it's only in three sectors, only. So there is a huge potential of circular economy. If we go towards the potential benefits in economy, those are even higher. You know that unfortunately this is in media over and over that Germany is not really doing well in economic situation now. GDP is not really that much rising. But if we still consider a 0.5% increase, it says that if we would succeed in circular economy, we would have additional 0.5% increase of GDP by 2030 in comparison to linear economy, which would create 700,000 jobs more. This is a European Union level, 700,000. So that is really a very, very good number, which should motivate you to do your study here further. Net benefits for the economy with this increase additional by 0.5% would mean roughly about $1.8 billion by 2030 only in Europe, which is somewhere around 0.9 billion more than with linear economy model. This would also cause the growth in household income. I have given you a digit, which is somewhere around 3,000 euros. What do you think? What is your guess? What is the general income of a very typical average household in Germany? Just a guess. Roughly about. There is no, huh?
1,800 euros.
Yeah? How do you come to this? Have you Googled?
I saw something and the number stuck to me.
Okay. Do you think?
Repeat that, what they said, because it might not be.
Yeah, right. So it was, one guess was said 1,800. If you have another guess, you can shout. What would you say? Yeah? Around the same. It's not that bad, 2,400. But still, I would say it's quite less. Still, it's quite less. But no, it's off topic. It's off topic. Simply, I was Googling this digit for one of my publications that I'm working on right now. Number of people in Germany at a risk of hunger. That you would never ever imagine the number. What would you say? A rough guess. If we are talking about the prosperity of life, how many people are at the risk of hunger? Just a guess. 9 million. It's a number which I can't get rid of this number from my head. By the way, that was also something very interesting yesterday in the media, saying that even those people who are at the risk of hunger, they have approximately 250 euros expenses over Christmas time, which is proportionally very high proportion of the expenses on Christmas market, which is really, really very shocking. But still, you can see that food sometimes is not being prioritized. But well, okay. If we have digits for climate protection, environmental potential benefits, and economic potential benefits, what you don't see, really don't see, this is the very biggest problem until now, are the social effects, or in general, the societal part in circular economy is not really well defined. And it's also the same within, you take supply chain management, you take urban regions, whatever you take, you will always see economic and environmental benefits, but social part is really something which is missing. So one of the things is social justice and behavior change, especially when we talk about the consumption, but also education and also upskilling of the jobs for the job market. So the perspective actually said that's an interesting thing, that once again circular economy is nothing new. Industrial ecology it was coming somewhere around in 1970s as a concept, and that was the ground for circular economy. So actually it promotes the circular economy by establishment of eco-industrial networks or industrial symbiosis. If we take one of the industrial symbiosis or industrial eco park, that is several companies coexisting in a specific area and benefiting from the outputs, using one output of one company as an input for the other one. We call this eco parks. They indeed exist since 1970s. So real quite long history, but circular economy concept is just a new one. It is being used, so we can say it's an environmental governance paradigm. It's just as a tool for policymakers to create regulations that incorporate principles of sustainability. And indeed, anytime if you go to European Union for any kind of event on circular economy, you will always listen to regulations. It's always about regulating the things. Environmental psychology is indeed one of the another key aspects here, to encourage people towards more sustainable behavior. And last but not least, the business models. So actually business models concepts are so many, but the transformation towards circular business models is really quite difficult and challenging. Per se, we would say that actually recycling companies are real circular economy business models, what I have. But surely nowadays we see evolving quite new ones. You remember I said that repair is one of the best R strategy, but the thing is, again, repair is very difficult to build in a business model. The profitability is quite less until now. And that's why it's really at this moment, even though in a governmental panel of circular economy, as I said, where I'm acting, we have focused on repair, but still we are struggling with finding some good business models in circular economy. So basically, the key take message here is that if we want to get the transformation done, then it needs a huge collective effort by all the stakeholders, be it government, policy, businesses, or consumers. So in general, we can say actually the overall benefits are quite clear. Technology, and this is something which is very important, that technology should be open and it should represent a central enabler of positive social and environmental change should be there. Resilience, I talked about it over and over, so the key message or the key important fact for circular economy transformation is the transformation towards more resilient systems. Governance should be collaborative and inclusive, and this is something which we are at least struggling quite a lot. If we take Switzerland, then you know that the civil society is really actively engaged into the governmental decision-making process, whereas in Germany we speak about the democracy, but in many cases it's not given. Okay. With that, I would like to close this very first part, and we move towards the second part, towards circular economy at macro scale. And here are the business models which I would like to talk about. So actually, a business model, if we take this, is a representation or a set of strategic definition of how an organization creates or delivers and captures value. This is a very typical definition from Osterwalder and Pignot. If we go a little bit further towards circular business models, the godfather of circular business models is Geisdorfer. And the definition comes from him saying a circular economy system requires the design and implementation of business models that are based on using as little resources for as long as possible while extracting as much value as possible in the processes. A very, very nice definition. I like this quite a lot. So actually, it says that the basic aim of circular business models is to overcome the very typical linear take, make, dispose model by implementing innovative ones. So if we again go towards the business model innovations, we always start with conceptualizing or implementing the entirely new business. This is something which is, I would say, perhaps the most easy one to start with, or diversify into additional business models, acquire some new ones, or transform from one to the other one. It might, so this transformation process might affect the entire business model or perhaps only a part of it. So this is a very typical definition from business model innovation. If we take the circular business model, then three characteristics are very important here. The first one is, we talked about it, consumer as a user. With that, it's the prosumer concept. Performance, that means that get more value out of what there, and products become services. I think the third one, that the products become services, is more straightforward in the circular economy. If we take the car manufacturing companies, for instance, BMW, they say that they do not sell a car, they sell a mobility. And that's also true. You don't buy a fridge and put in your kitchen because it's nice. You want its functionality, right? So you buy cooling system rather than a shelf, which is called a fridge. So this mindset, rather to have a service than a product, is very, very, very key in circular economy business models. It has the following characteristica: fourfold. Recycle, surely the materials and energy are recycled within the system through reuse, remanufacturing, or you name it. Extend the use phase, especially of the products, through long-lasting design, marketing, maintenance, and repair. So this extension phase is very important, which actually, is changing the market right now quite a lot. The third one is to intensify. That means that the using phase of the product should be intensified, which might be through sharing economy solutions. Basically, you can, if you buy especially kind of equipment for your household, most of the time you don't need it. Yeah. So if you share it, then the use phase would be even more intensified. The same is actually also with the cars. Dematerialization, product utility is provided without hardware through substitution with service and also software solutions. So these three characteristics in circular business models, as said, are very important. Consumer vs prosumer, and especially the product vs service. Yeah. I have taken at the micro level another framework with me, which is also very straightforward, and I like this resolve framework, which is coming from Ellen MacArthur Foundation again. It says that there are 6 actions for the transformation towards circular economy business models: regenerate, shift to renewable energy, shared economic perspective, optimize, technology-centered strategy like IoT, loop, based on both biological and technical cycles, virtualize, that means a service-focused strategy rather than a physical products, and last but not least, exchange, substitute old and non-renewable materials. Those 6 are very important actions towards the transformation. They represent actually a major circular business opportunity and are very much enabled by Industry 4.0. So I think I could jump this one. There are quite large potential benefits also at the circular economy at the micro level. One of the most important ones is definitely the cost benefits from decreasing the amount of virgin material which are being used. Actually, this is exactly the most important driver which each company would indeed take into consideration. And surely, if you are selling not only a product but a service, you make your consumers dependent on you, right? And with that, you actually improve the customer interaction loyalty. So those are the biggest potential benefits. So as said, there are quite a lot of upside, we can say, or positive sides of circular economy, which are then the collaboration or technical innovations, which we are actually over and over doing quite well. But there are also downsides or barriers. For instance, the cultural barriers. They don't really necessarily favor the transformation towards circularity because of, for instance, lack of awareness or fragmented information regarding circular economy. Technological aspects, if they might be good for one or another reason, they might be also a barrier because especially small companies cannot really invest a lot in technical innovations. Market, high initial costs and market uncertainty. And that was again one of the interesting discussions I was having yesterday with a company from Lüchow-Dannenberg. And they said, yeah, the market is not there for circular products because those are too expensive. But the thing is, it's not true. The other way is more true, that the other products which are not circular, those are too cheap because of substitutions of many costs or not internalization of externalities. Have you heard of internalization of externalities? What could this mean, or what does it mean? I bet you have.
I have not used that explicit
Okay.
word.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. Explicitly, that means CO2 pricing. We can say it in a short way, that all your negative effects through your production or services as a company when you are having, these negative environmental externalities should have a price. Yeah? And with that, surely the price would be automatically higher. Let us, I think that's a good time, 50 minutes, get a little bit more equipped with attention and a little bit more action, what we can do. I would present quite a large pool of best practices, and I would like you to work on this. I will just show them, so please pay attention which one is more interesting for you. Then you will say with who you would like to work on this case study. And then I have also guiding questions, what you could work on this. And then you will have 30 minutes time to work. All of them are really very easily accessible through internet. And then you present, say, 5 to 7 minutes your case study. Okay? Good. So, what I have taken. One of the best practices, this is quite an old one, but still I like this one, smartphone. But I think I will just jump because the background and the information you should work on yourself. But still, one of them is the Fairphone from the Netherlands. Perhaps you have heard of that. This is a modular phone. I like this quite a lot, but I have heard that it's also not that stable. The other one I have taken with me is the Berlin pilot. This is coming from a large European Union project, Reflow. Reflow project has 6 cities in it, and one of them is Berlin. So basically they want to reduce CO2 emissions through increased energy efficiency. And what do they do for that? They use the heat to transfer it, or the waste heat from water to transfer it into the energy. And they start mapping it because quite a lot of waste heat energy is not even known. You don't see it in a city, but it's a huge potential, and they want to use this potential to transfer Berlin into more regenerative one, I think, yeah. The other one is Turku in Finland. By the way, when we talk about circular cities and regions, most of them are actually from Finland or from Scandinavian countries. Here, what they want to do is actually use food waste, reduce it, or make a provisioning of vegetarian meals, and use it for different aims, especially to decrease CO2 from food waste. And this is a very large problem. In Jaipur, India, they have come up with a public-private partnership for a tax craft park, and the main aim is to produce eco-friendly textile with multiple stakeholders, and with recycling, rainwater harvesting, and energy conservation. Seoul, South Korea's vision is to have 2,000 stations across a city for car sharing policy. So basically sharing services for public transportation, bike and scooter, so kind of a mobility service, not only for public transport, but also for micro-mobility. Another one, again, back to Germany, in Essen. This one is called RAG Zollverein. A very interesting territory. They want to develop this completely out of scratch with improved indoor air quality, green walls, dust binding carpets, also certification of parquet flooring, also kind of reusing the building components with digital passport of the resources being used for the construction. So a very large impact which this might have. Cup Zero from UK. It's basically a returnable packageable service for beverages and food brands. And I would say nowadays these packaging systems are so many, but still quite good, kind of market potential is definitely there, and also game changer for, especially when it comes to supply chains and logistics. This is the farm I said, Inform, was also in Germany, or is. Design out of waste and minimize resource input. I like this one quite a lot because this is kind of a hyper-local production of herbs and leafy greens in a modular forms. Basically, you consume or you order something which is not there yet. As soon as you order, they start producing the herb. So just on time, not delivery, but even production. You remember I said if you have a balance within production and consumption, that could be a very good game changer. So that's what they are doing. Basically, no food waste anymore. There is another one, bioregion in Westerland. Here they are creating a completely new bioregion with zero waste. So this is also a very nice one. Chamvino, Tanzania, a solar-powered water supply project in a relatively large village. Renovation of water tank and capacity to produce 336,000 liters a day, which would help 7,000 households with the clean water. This, I think, is one of the largest water projects in African regions. Another one is also again from Mozambique, from Africa. The issue is that growing population is there, surely. With that, with growing population, there is an increased food waste. And surely devastation of mangrove areas. So they want to compost the waste from 11 urban food markets, and they reuse this as a compost or bio-compost in gardens to grow vegetables. So a perfect biological cycle. So those were the pool, so to say, of the case studies. What I would like you to do, take one of these case studies and just describe them. The problem, what is the problem they are starting with? What is the background of this? What kind of vision and goals, short-term and long-term, are following or are being followed? Describe the ecological, economic, and social benefits. If you find some digits, so in a quantitative way, that would be really very nice. Some of them have already the digits, so you can present the potential benefits. But I would also like you to critically reflect on these case studies. Are there any rebound effects? Perhaps, perhaps something bad might happen through the case study implementation, or perhaps you could find another interesting or comparable case study. So critically reflect on the case study. These 3 bullet points would be very nice. How you kind of distribute within yourself these bullet points, for me it's equal. I would suggest that you have some 30 minutes, 3:30. I think it would be enough for you to discuss the case study and then present within the 5 to 7 minutes. I said we have 1, 2, and 1, 2 there, digital room. So 4 case studies. If we take 7 minutes, okay, 30 minutes in total for a presentation, then we should be done by 4 p.m. That's good. Then I would go to Circular Society for 15 minutes. And then you will be free, I hope. Okay. There you go.
So, thank you very much for this very nice first task. We'll cut the recording now so that you can work in peace for the case studies. The offline groups is quite simple. We'll just divide them by 2. Chintan will create 2 breakout rooms online to also form 2 groups there. Of course, you could just write your preferences like on some topics and try to form groups a little bit yourself. Otherwise, Chintan will make sure that we will have 2 uniform groups in terms of numbers. If the online people have any questions in between, the audio is on, you can just like unmute yourself and yell into the room, or of course you can just write Chintan or in the public chat, and then we will make sure that either Anni can get in touch with you or someone else helps you. I know it's not ideal, but we have people also from Göttingen and from Clausthal who cannot always make it to Goslar. So we will do this as an experiment, try our best, and yeah, enjoy. We'll cut the recording now and start the recording again for the circular societies after we have done the case study presentations.